The sky is pale with the first hint of gold. The city still half asleep beneath the clouds. I walk the quiet streets with coffee in hand, footsteps echoing softly like a beginning. The wind carries something unseen, a whisper that sounds a little like hope. Yesterday lingers, but it doesn't hold me, because every sunrise feels like forgiveness. This is the door to tomorrow, a light that opens when I choose to move. Every dream waits on the other side, every heartbeat is a key. I'm not running from the past anymore, I'm just walking toward the light. The world wakes slowly, one window at a time, and the air smells like rain that's almost gone. I think of all the things I couldn't say, and how silence sometimes builds a bridge. Even small steps count when they're honest. Even fear feels gentle in the morning. It's not about knowing what's ahead, but trusting that I'm ready to find it. This is the door to tomorrow, a light that opens when I choose to move. Every dream waits on the other side, every heartbeat is a key. I'm not running from the past anymore, I'm just walking toward that. The sunlight breaks and I feel the world breathing with me. No map, no plan, just motion and belief in the quiet thrill of starting again. I smile at the thought that someday I'll thank myself for this small courage. This is the door to tomorrow, a light that opens when I choose to move. Every dream waits on the other side, every heartbeat is a key. I'm not running from the past anymore, I'm just walking toward. This is the door to tomorrow, the place where endings turn to beginnings. I reach out and the air feels new again, warm, gentle, endlessly wide. And as I step through, I understand tomorrow isn't waiting out there, it's been waiting inside me all along. The morning hums beneath a sleepy sky, and the desk waits with open pages. Pencils rest like promises beside my hand, ready to draw the day into meaning. A gentle breeze moves the curtain's edge, and I breathe in the scent of quiet focus. The clock ticks softly, not as a warning, but as rhythm steady and kind. Notes unfold like gentle thoughts, and I find calm between each word I write. Outside the world rushes on without me, but here time feels like it listens. This is study time, a slow bloom of understanding. Every sound fades into stillness, every idea finds its light. It's not about answers, it's about learning how to see. Coffee coffee cools beside my scattered notes, and sunlight stretches across the page. The noise of doubt grows faint and distant, replaced by the quiet hum of progress. Each mistake turns softer in reflection, each effort a step toward clarity. This is study time, a slow bloom of understanding. Every sound fades into stillness, every idea finds its light. It's not about answers, it's about learning how to see. Evening comes with gentle gold, and my thoughts grow wide like fields. I close the book, but the meaning lingers. Knowledge doesn't end when the reading stops. It becomes part of the rhythm, part of the self that keeps unfolding. Maybe studying isn't work, but a kind of prayer to understand, to grow, to stay curious. And maybe the quiet is the sound of becoming. This is study time, not a task but a moment of truth, where silence teaches patience and effort turns to peace. The day fades slow, but the learning stays bright, carved gently into me. The chalk draws lines across the empty board, each mark a whisper from a patient mind. Numbers fall into rhythm, quiet and sure, like raindrops counting the pulse of time. I breathe between symbols and meaning, where logic turns into something almost kind. Theorems bloom like constellations, each proof a bridge across uncertainty. I find comfort in their endless balance, the symmetry of things I can't yet see. Math doesn't lie, it only waits for hearts patient enough to listen. This is mathematics, where order meets wonder, where thought becomes art in silence. Every curve, every sign, a language that speaks without sound. Infinity feels closer when I write it by hand. The late night lamp hums softly above my notes, pages filled with hope disguised as work. Mistakes look like constellations too, and I start to love them for what they teach. Between fractions and dreams, I find the shape of who I am becoming. This is mathematics, where order meets wonder, where thought becomes art in silence. Every curve, every sign, a language that speaks without sound. Infinity feels closer when I write it by hand. Outside, dawn folds its light into the window, and I realize I've been tracing the universe. Equations fade, but the calm remains, the quiet truth that everything connects. Somewhere between reason and faith, I find beauty defined by precision. Maybe math isn't cold, maybe it's the gentlest way. The universe lets us understand it. Every answer is just another question, and that's what makes it beautiful. This is mathematics, not just rules but rhythm. The proof is in the wonder, the pattern inside every dream. And as I close my book, I realize the equation was never numbers. It was the search for meaning. You draw a line across the paper's edge, your pen so steady, your voice a whisper. We talk about bass and height and balance, but my heart keeps skipping the formula. The light bends gently through the window glass, and I realize geometry never felt this warm. You laugh when I get it wrong again, scribbling notes between my failed attempts. Somehow your smile becomes my proof, and the math starts making sense. Every angle points towards you, and suddenly the lesson feels alive. This is the area of love, half of bass times all my heart, measured in moments, not in lines, drawn between your eyes and mine. Even numbers can't define the space you take inside my mind. The chalk dust floats like tiny stars, and your handwriting curls like art on the board. I trace each symbol pretending to study, but all I see is how you fit the equation, 2 points apart. And I keep wishing the distance was less. This is the area of love, half of bass times all my heart, measured in moments, not in lines, drawn between your eyes and mine. Even numbers can't define the space you take inside my mind. The bell rings, but I stay for one more glance, as if the answer's hidden in your smile. You pack your notes, the day unfolds, and I'm still dividing time by the way you look at me. If love were a lesson, I'd never want the class to end. Maybe formulas can't explain it, maybe some shapes can't be solved, because between us the math keeps changing, and every triangle turns into a heart. This is the area of love, half of bass times all my heart, the sum of laughter, light and dreams, proof written softly on your sleeve. No theorem could measure this truth. Every side leads back to you. The museum lights fall soft on ancient stone, and your reflection moves across the glass. Every artifact feels warmer when you're near, like history itself decided to breathe again. You whisper stories you once read in passing, and somehow they sound brand new in your voice. Outside the city hums with modern dreams, but inside these walls time folds gently. I catch your eyes beneath the sculpture's shadow. They hold more color than the painted walls. In their depth I see centuries blending, heart and heartbeat, memory and now. This is culture and your eyes, where the world meets meaning in silence. Every look you give feels like a translation weight of every name carved in stone. You trace your fingers along a faded mural, and I wonder if beauty was always meant to fade, so we could learn to love it more each time we rediscover. This is culture. Only to the way your gaze holds both. Maybe culture isn't what we study, but what we feel when we see each other clearly. Maybe your eyes are the oldest story I know, written in a language that never needed words. This is culture. A quiet museum of everything human, light, breath, memory, and love, woven into one small moment of understanding. And as we step back into the night, the world feels ancient and new all at once, because I saw it reflected in you. My favorite function. The screen glows softly in the quiet room. Numbers hum like distant constellations. You smile at the curve taking shape on the graph, a perfect dark that somehow feels alive. Logic and beauty intertwine in silence, and I realize math can sound like poetry. Pencil in hand, you trace the slope, explaining how infinity can still feel close. Every symbol whispers something certain, something that never fades or lies in this moment. Equations breathe, and I almost believe in forever. This is my favorite function, steady, endless, true. It rises and falls like the rhythm of thought, like the pattern of hearts that learn and grow. Every line tells a story, and every value feels like you. The axis shines beneath the desk lamp glow. Our notebooks filled with fragments of wonder. Mistakes scatter like stars across the page, but even errors look beautiful tonight, because learning isn't about perfection, it's about finding meaning in the curves. You laugh when I call it love in disguise, but maybe numbers understand more than we think. They never vanish, only transform, and somewhere between X and Y I see the shape of something infinite, a truth that feels like home. This is my favorite function, steady, endless, true. It rises and falls like the rhythm of thought, like the pattern of hearts that learn and grow. Every line tells a story, and every value feels like like you. Maybe math is just a language for the things we can't say out loud. Maybe love is just another formula, unsolved but beautifully written. And maybe my favorite function isn't about numbers at all, but the way you make logic feel like life. This is my favorite function, where reason meets wonder, and symmetry feels like peace. I don't need the answer anymore, because the graph already shows it. You and me moving endlessly, approaching forever. The city hums beneath my window light. Neon drips down wet streets like melting stars. I sit alone, the mug's still warm, music playing low enough to hear my thoughts. The clock ticks softer than my heartbeat, and somewhere laughter fades into the dark. There's peace in being unseen, a kind of quiet that daylight can't afford. I trace my reflection on the glass, half fear, half somewhere in the past. Loneliness doesn't ache tonight, it just breathes steady and calm. This is Hitorino Night, where solitude feels like melody. No crowd, no noise, just the rhythm of my own soul. Every sigh turns into a song, every silence a verse waiting to be heard. I'm not lost, I'm learning to stay. The streetlights flicker like old memories, stories untold whisper through the rain. I think of voices I used to chase, and how quiet can be kind when you stop running. In this stillness I find myself again, smaller, softer, real. A breeze slips through the open window, carrying the scent of someone else's dream. Maybe tomorrow I'll meet the world again, but tonight I belong to no one and nothing, just the hum of the city and the comfort of being alone. This is Hitorino Night, where solitude feels like melody. No crowd, no noise, just the rhythm of my own soul. Every sigh turns into a song, every silence a verse waiting to be heard. I'm not lost, I'm learning to stay. Maybe being alone is an emptiness, maybe a space for breath, for thought, for healing. And maybe this night, with all its quiet corners, isn't about what's missing, but what's beginning. This is Hitorino Night, soft, slow, endless. The moon listens, and I finally hear myself again. Tomorrow will come with its noise and names, but for now this still heartbeat, this quiet room is enough. Rain taps gently on the window glass, and your shoulder brushes mine beneath the glow. Two books open side by side, pages, whispering secrets to the quiet air. Your voice hums softly when you find a line you love. And I forget the story I was reading, just listening instead. The smell of paper and tea wraps the room in calm. Time slows down, kind enough to wait for us. I catch your smile between the sentences, and it feels like the plot has changed. No longer fiction, but something real, something small and beautiful right here. This is reading time with you, where silence feels full and warmth has a sound. Every word turns softer in your presence. Every breath feels like a promise I didn't know I made. The world can wait outside the window, because right now this page is enough. You tilt your head, lost in thought, and the light dances through your hair like afternoon gold. I pretend to read, but the truth is I'm studying you. Every laugh, every sigh, every quiet second that feels like forever. The books close slowly, and the quiet deepens like a gentle song. We don't need to speak, because the stillness says everything for us. If love were written, it would look exactly like this. This is reading time with you, where silence feels full and warmth has a sound. Every word turns softer in your presence. Every breath feels like a promise I didn't know I made. The world can wait outside the window, because right now this page is enough. Maybe love isn't loud, maybe it lives in pages and glances, in the rhythm of turning paper together. And maybe tomorrow I'll forget the story we read, but never the way this moment felt. This is reading time with you, a story without an ending. The books may close, but the warmth stays open in my chest. And as the rain fades into silence, I realize this was never about the book. It was always about you. The clock ticks steady like a quiet drum. Night folds itself around my desk again. Pages open like tiny worlds to conquer. My coffee's gone cold, but I keep going. The lamp hums softly, a friend that never sleeps. Its light catching the edges of every dream I haven't reached yet. Outside, the city sighs and slows, but in here, time feels heavier, slower, real. Every note I write is a promise to myself that someday this effort will turn into wings. My tired eyes trace the lines of tomorrow, hoping the ink remembers more than I do. This is exam season, a quiet fight between fear and faith. Every hour feels endless, but every dawn is one step closer. The night may test me, but I've learned that light always finds those who keep trying. I think of everyone chasing chasing their own answers, each of us alone, yet somehow together in this silence. There's comfort in knowing we all carry the same weight and the same hope hidden underneath. Even failure feels smaller now when I remember why I started. The pen slips, my mind drifts, but I smile anyway. This moment matters too, because someday I'll look back and see that it wasn't the grades, but the nights I refused to give up that shaped who I became. This is exam season, a quiet fight between fear and faith. Every hour feels endless, but every dawn is one step closer. The night may test me, but I've learned that light always finds those who keep trying. Maybe success isn't about perfection, but persistence in the quiet hours. Maybe all these pages are just maps leading back to myself. And maybe, just maybe, I've already passed what really mattered, the courage to keep believing. This is exam season, but it's also growth and grit and grace. The sun rises through the window, and I know I've made it through another night. Whatever comes next, I'm ready, because I've learned the most important thing: how to keep going. The world was quiet when I met you, but somehow every color learned your name. You spoke softly, and even silence listened, as if the air itself didn't wanna forget. Every glance was a sunrise, every word a small forever. And from that moment, time started moving differently. I used to think love was loud, but you taught me it could be gentle, like light through morning curtains. This is my greatest love, not a spark, but a steady glow. It doesn't burn, it warms, it doesn't rush, it stays. Every heartbeat feels like home. And in your eyes I finally see what forever was meant to look like. The seasons changed, but your warmth never did, holding me steady through every storm. We learned that love isn't always perfect. It's patient, imperfectly beautiful. Even the quiet days hum softly with meaning, like pages turning in a book we write together. It's not about grand moments, but the way your hand finds mine when words fall short. This is my greatest love, not a spark, but a steady glow. It doesn't burn, it warms, it doesn't rush, it stays. Every heartbeat feels like home. And in your eyes I finally see what forever was meant to look like. Maybe true love isn't found, maybe it's built slowly in laughter, in silence, in the courage to stay. And maybe the greatest love isn't about falling at all. with you. Morning light spills over our desk, pencils tapping like quiet metronomes of thought. Your voice reads softly, tracing meaning through the air. And suddenly the world outside fades into gentle blur. Every page feels lighter when we turn it together. Every note a shared discovery as time forgets to hurry. It's not about the answers we find, but the way learning feels alive when you're beside me. This is the best time to learn with you, 'cause silence is comfort and curiosity hums between our hearts. Every question feels like a doorway, every moment like sunlight through the window of the mind. And in this calm, knowledge feels like love unfolding quietly. Coffee cools, but our thoughts stay warm. Lines of text turning into sparks of wonder. You smile when you finally solve it, and I realize that progress can sound like laughter outside. The day drifts softly, but here everything shines with focus and ease, as if the universe leans closer to listen. It's not about being perfect, it's about growing together, finding joy in every slow and steady step. This is the best time to learn with you, where silence is comfort and curiosity hums between our hearts. Every question feels like a doorway, every moment like sunlight through the window of the mind. And in this calm, knowledge feels like love unfolding quietly. Maybe learning isn't about remembering facts, but remembering how it feels to share discovery with someone who understands. Maybe wisdom is just another word for being fully here together. This is the best time to learn with you, not about lessons but connection. And as the pages close and the light turns gold, I realize we've learned something bigger than words, that every thought shared with you becomes a memory that never fades. The morning breaks in colors I've never seen before, light spilling over rooftops like hope rediscovered. The air hums with something new, not noise but possibility. Every shadow feels softer now, every breath a small beginning. And somewhere inside I start to believe in what's ahead again. Yesterday was heavy, but today moves lightly like footsteps finding rhythm for the first time. This is a bright future, painted in sunlight, built on small courage. Every dream feels close enough to touch. Every heartbeat sounds like a promise kept. The world unfolds gently, and for once I'm ready to meet it halfway. Windows open, curtains sway, and the sky feels wider than it used to. I see reflections of who I was, fading quietly into the horizon's gold. The road ahead isn't straight, but it glows in the right direction. Even uncertainty feels kind in this light. It's not about knowing, it's about trusting that the unknown can still be beautiful. This is a bright future, painted in sunlight, built on small courage. Every dream feels close enough to touch. Every heartbeat we choose to stay kind. And maybe hope isn't something we chase, but something that finally catches up to us. This is a bright future, not loud but steady, not perfect but real. And as I step into the light, I realize the dawn was never waiting. It was always inside me, waiting to rise, waiting to the doors open to a hush of sunlight and dust, the kind that feels like memory breathing. Stacks of books rise like quiet cathedrals, and somewhere a page turns softly, a sound that could almost be the wind outside. The world rushes past in weekend colors, but here time forgets its name. Every story waits patiently, like it knows you came to rest, not to run. This is the holiday library, where hours stretch and thoughts find room to wander. Every word feels like a gentle escape, every breath like learning how to slow down again. And in the quiet between sentences, I remember what calm sounds like. Children laugh between the aisles, a soft reminder that silence has many shapes. I sit by the window, tracing sunlight across the floor, watching dust dance like unwritten dreams. The coffee on the table cools slowly, but the warmth in my chest stays outside. Bells ring from somewhere far away. It's not about finishing a book, it's about being still enough to feel your own story again. This is the holiday library, where hours stretch and thoughts find room to wander. Every word feels like a gentle escape, every breath like learning how to slow down again. And in the quiet between sentences, I remember what calm sounds like. Maybe peace isn't found, it's remembered. Between pages, between sighs, between one thought and the next. And maybe this quiet room is the closest thing to home I've ever known. This is the holiday library, not just a place but a feeling. And as the day leans softly into evening, I close the book, not to end it but to carry the silence with me back into the world that waits outside. The movie flickers softly against the wall. Your laughter overlaps the dialogue, and I forget to read the lines because I'm watching you instead. Outside, the rain writes its own translation on the glass, and somehow every word on screen feels warmer beside you. Time drifts like subtitles, appearing, fading, leaving traces in the dark. It's quiet but not empty, like language learning how to breathe with between two hearts. This is reading subtitles with you, where every part says more than the words. The glow of the screen paints our faces in borrowed light, and I realize that understanding isn't always about language. Sometimes it's just about being here in the same frame at the same time. The film plays on, but we keep whispering over it, turning scenes into our own small story. The popcorn cools, the clock forgets to move, and somewhere in the quiet I notice how your smile translates everything I need to know. Even silence feels like dialogue when you're near. It's not about the story we're watching, it's about the one we're quietly writing in the space between the lines. This is reading subtitles with you, where every part says more than the words. The glow of the screen paints our faces in borrowed light, and I realize that understanding isn't always about language. Sometimes it's just about being here in the same frame at the same time. Maybe love is just translation, the kind without rules, where I speak first and hearts reply slowly. Maybe this room, this light, this quiet is how we learn to read each other. This is reading subtitles with you, not a movie, but a memory being written. And as the credits roll and we don't move, I think maybe this silence, this shared stillness is the most beautiful line of all. Reading and coffee, morning light spills across the table, pages open like quiet wings in flight. Steam curls from a cup beside my hand, the scent of roasted warmth mixing with words. Outside, the city hums a tune I don't need to sing, because here in this still corner, the world feels small enough to hold. It's not about escape, it's about the peace between sentences, where life slows down just enough to notice itself. This is reading and coffee, the gentle rhythm of thought and taste. Every sip feels like turning a page, every line like breathing in sunlight. Time doesn't rush here, it lingers softly like cream swirling in quiet gold. The bookmark leans where I left it yesterday, a promise that stories wait for me to return. My reflection in the cup ripples slightly, as if the past is still speaking in warmth. The room smells of paper, rain, and calm intention, and I let the world outside dissolve for a while, until only calm remains. It's not about the ending, but the spaces between words, the silence that makes meaning possible. This is reading and coffee, the gentle rhythm of thought and taste. Every sip feels like turning a page, every line like breathing in sunlight. Time doesn't rush here, it peace isn't loud. Maybe it lives in small rituals, in ink and warmth, in the way mornings repeat themselves kindly. And maybe this cup, this moment, is enough to remember who I am. This is reading and coffee, not an escape, but a return. And as the light fades over folded pages, I taste the quiet one last time, knowing I'll be back tomorrow for another sip, another story, the same calm heart. The sky melts into copper and rose, traffic lights blinking like tired eyes. And I stand at the corner where the day exhales. The air smells like rain that changed its mind, and voices drift past like old songs half remembered. Every shadow stretches a little farther, trying to hold on to the last of the light. The city slows, but my heart keeps time, counting moments instead of minutes. This is the crossroads at dusk, where goodbye sounds soft and beginnings hide in the glow. Engines hum, footsteps fade, and the sky burns quietly behind glass and cables. I wait for the green light, but maybe standing still is also a kind of moving on. A stranger passes, our reflections blur in the shop window. Two stories crossing, just long enough to be forgotten. The sun slips slower, spilling gold across the pavement, and for a second the world feels perfectly in between. Not day, not night, just a sigh painted in amber light. It's not about where I'm going, but how this moment feels like forever, even as it fades. This is the crossroads at dusk, where goodbye sounds soft and beginnings hide in the glow. Engines hum, footsteps fade, and the sky burns quietly behind glass and cables. I wait for the green light, but maybe standing still is also a kind of moving on. Maybe every sunset is a reminder that endings can be gentle, that stillness can hum like a song. And maybe this corner with its flickering signs and fleeting faces, exactly where I'm meant to breathe tonight. Oh, this is the crossroads at dusk, where time pauses long enough to listen. And as the lights change and I finally step forward, the night opens like a new page, written in the color of goodbye and calm. The hallway hums with echoes soft and slow, dust dancing in the air like fragments of thought. I touch the old brass handle and time trembles. The scent of rain, the sound of laughter, the ghost of who I was waiting on the other side. Every step creaks like a heartbeat, remembering its rhythm. It's strange how silence can speak, how a single doorway can hold a lifetime. This is the door of memory, where yesterday still breathes in faded light. Every whisper, every smile, folded neatly between the cracks of time. I open it slowly, voices float like paper boats on a quiet river. I reach out but touch only warmth, not loss, not regret, just the gentle truth that nothing is ever truly gone. Only resting in another room of the heart. It's not about going back, but about remembering softly without breaking what remains. This is the door of memory, where yesterday still breathes in faded light. Every whisper, every smile, folded neatly between the cracks of time. I open it slowly, and the past pours out like sunlight through old glass. Maybe memory isn't a place, but a rhythm, a slow return to what made us real. Maybe every goodbye was just another way of saying I'll meet you in the quiet. This is the door of memory, not an ending, but a beginning seen in reverse. And as I step through one last time, I find myself not in the past, but in everything it taught me to love. Horizon hangs low, brushing gold across the edge of everything. And I stand where the sky begins to breathe into the sea. Winds carry the scent of tomorrow, soft warmth and maybe change. Every ripple feels like a heartbeat stretching toward forever. And in that glow I can almost hear the world exhale. There's no finish line here, only space to keep dreaming. And the quiet promise that distance is not the same as loss. This is the horizon, where endings turn into beginnings, where light bends but never breaks. Every color spills into the next, and I walk the line between what's gone and what's waiting to be found. The road runs straight until it disappears into blue, and the wind sings through open windows like a friend with no words. I chase the shimmer that lives just out of reach, knowing that maybe the beauty is not in arriving, but in the ache of wanting to see what's beyond. It's not about the distance, it's about believing that the world keeps opening, no matter how far I go. This is the horizon, where endings turn into beginnings, where light bends but never breaks. Every color spills into the next, and I walk the line between what's gone and what's waiting to be found. Maybe the horizon isn't out there, but somewhere inside, a place that whispers keep going when the night feels too long. Maybe the glow I've been chasing was always my own reflection in the sky. This is the horizon, not a line but a feeling. And as I keep walking into the gold of another day, I realize I've never been lost, just learning how to meet the light. the shelves that hum like memories. I drift through aisles of quiet light, the air thick with ink and stories that never sleep. A cup of warm coffee trembling slightly in my hand as the clock forgets to move and I forget to care. The windows blur the moon into watercolor silver, and somewhere between the pages I find a heartbeat softer than sound. There's no hurry here, only the sound of turning pages, the hush of thought, the comfort of being alone but not lonely. This is the night bookstore, where time slows down and words glow like constellations. Every story feels alive beneath the lampshade's warmth, and I read like breathing, slow and endless, finding myself in every sentence I never wrote. The world outside is sleeping in neon and rain, but here it's all paper moons and quiet dreams. My reflection fades between the glass and the night, caught between who I am and who the stories say I could be. The whisper of pages feels like wind through memory, and I let it carry me somewhere I've never been. It's not escape, it's returning to the calm inside the chaos, to the silence that understands me. This is the night bookstore, where time slows down and words glow like constellations. Every story feels alive beneath the lampshade's warmth, and I read like breathing, slow and endless, finding myself in every sentence I ever wrote. Maybe it's not about reading, but remembering that peace doesn't need sound, that stillness can speak louder than any song. And maybe tonight that's enough, just the hum of lights and the comfort of knowing I'm exactly where I should be. This is the night bookstore, not just a place but a feeling. And as I close the